think you just confused this one last time. I was there last time.
Oh, okay.
But I would have to ask you that one. I mean, I don't want to get it.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do.
Hello everyone and welcome into the CIU Sports Network for this AAC showdown here on a Saturday afternoon in Columbia, South Carolina. Reinhardt University here taking on the hosting Rams. Kate Crenshaw, Jeff McElwain here with you this afternoon. Jeff, what an exciting matchup we have here in conference play as these two teams are right in that window, coming up just 5 and 6 games left on their schedules respectively. We're just a few games out now from that AAC conference tournament. Currently Reinhardt in 5th place in the conference standings, Columbia International in 8th place. And you look at how the AAC conference tournament works. The top 4 seeds get the bye, and then 5 through 8 get to host. So this is a big-time game for both schools with just a few weeks left in the season.
Yeah, definitely, and look for these teams to come out aggressive. They realize what's on the line today, so they're definitely going to leave it all out there.
Sproul can't get her first shot to fall, and Neat there on the rebound will knock it out. So we're going to see Reinhardt bring it up the floor here, talking with Coach Danielle Fleming of the Rams pregame, and she said just flat out, Reinhardt is going to try to attack you in the paint, but they also have guards that can shoot. They're on the left wing, Simone Williams. She's going to try to penetrate the paint, kicks it back up outside. Now inside corner, 3 off the mark from Catherine Shope, but Briley Puckett is there for the recovery. She had a career-high 21 points the last time these two teams faced off back in November. Little miscommunication there from the Rams as Brittany Bounds' pass to Zion Neat will sail out of bounds. With 9:09 to go here in the first quarter, the Eagles leading this one early 2-0. Abby Hayes, the junior guard, steps across midcourt for Reinhardt. Once again, trying to get into that lane. She's going to kick it back out to Williams, now right side to Shope.
You see the Rams in the zone early on here. Notice how they're trying to pack the paint, kind of slow down the production from the bigs on the inside, try to get as many bodies as they possibly can.
Shope,
try to keep her off the glass.
Shope off the glass for her first points of today's game. As speaking of Catherine Shope, she's going to pick up her first personal there on a reach with 8:41 to go here in the first quarter. 4-0 our score. Reinhardt leading this one. Look back at their last meeting on November the 7th, and really it was a lopsided game for both squads, depending on, well, really which half of basketball you watch. While Reinhardt got the win 82-72, it came from behind. They trailed by 12 at the half and outscored CIU 44-25 there in the third and fourth quarters to get the 10-point victory. McQueen there on the illegal screen, so it's going to be headed the opposite way. And what's going to be a competitive game, you know, Jeff, you see this defensive intensity that Reinhardt's playing with. You don't want to make those mistakes offensively, especially, and get down here early.
Definitely not early on. You can't commit turnovers like that. But this is a seasoned Reinhardt team. They know what's on the line, so of course they're going to come out here focused.
3-point shot there from Abby Hayes. She sinks it from downtown. A 7-0 run to start this one out for Reinhardt. Watkins is able to recover. She kicks it left wing to a wide open McQueen for 3. She got it. Jordan McQueen puts CIU on the board and cuts the Rams' lead to 4 here with 7:45 left in the opening quarter. You can feel the high energy here inside the arena on this Saturday afternoon. Once again, trying to go inside there. The Rams defense able to shut it down. Inside to Shope. She's able to evade the defender and get the finger roll in. 9-3 our score. Neat able to recover there. She nearly lost the handle on it. She's going to drive inside. Neat thought she drew the foul. Took one extra step too much and whistled for the travel. Seven minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Beautiful defensive play there from Brittany Brown. Really stripped it away as Hayes drove into the paint. Comes away with it cleanly in the corner to Neat. She sank the 3-point shot that would have cut the lead to 3 in half. But instead, as Watkins drove in and dished it out, she's going to be whistled for the offensive charge. Both of these teams playing with high energy here early. Right corner is Puckett. She's going to be defended by Sproul. Back up top. Inside to Shope in the paint. Williams pulls up from the top of the key off the back iron, but Shope's there for the offensive board to corral it. 3-point now from the left wing is Hayes. She sank one earlier. She won't get that one to go. Zion Neat tries moving up the floor and cross court to Brown. Off her fingertips out of bounds. And one thing we saw there from Coach Fleming telling Neat she had Watkins open on the near sideline instead of going cross court for the easier pass. And now we see Neat check aside and Madison Ferrara check into the ball game for the Rams, a sophomore guard from Hendersonville, Tennessee. 6:13 to play here in the opening quarter, 9-3 our score. Williams works left side on Watkins. She now goes inside to the high post as Hayes tries working her way into the paint. She gets a shot up. It rattles out, but she will draw the foul there on Brittany Brown. That's going to be Brown's first personal, the Rams' third team foul. And the Eagles will have it underneath their own basket. Inside to Emily Swafford, the 6'3" center. Inside for the Eagles. She gets her first points of the game and pushes the lead to 8, the largest lead the Rams have had here in the early goings. Watkins off the dribble, inside to Sproul. Her first shot rims out, but Sproul's there for the offensive board and the putback, and she's going to draw the foul there and head to the charity stripe for 2.
Beautiful pass by Watkins, way to find the open teammate down low underneath.
Jordan Sproul, the all-time leading scorer for CIU, will sink the first of her 2 free throws. Sproul didn't have as big of an impact as I'm sure the Rams would have liked in this past Thursday night's game in the win over St. Andrews. Got into foul trouble early, only had 6 points and 7 rebounds, which is a great stat line, but uncharacteristic for her. Inside to Puckett. And Burnett's there for the putback. Timeout taken by Fleming. And CIU, 5:23 left here in the opening quarter. Reinhardt leading this one 13-4 early on. Stay with us. We'll be back in moments on the CIU Sports Network. .523 left here in the first quarter. Reinhardt out to an early 13-4 lead over Columbia International. And now we see coming out of the timeout, Reinhardt going with a full court press. McQueen's able to beat it. Now up the floor to Farrar as she tried going inside to Walls, but CIU's there defensively to knock it out. And the Rams will have it out of bounds on the far sideline. Farrar will take it out. Tiana Walls checks into the game now for CIU, coming out of the timeout down by 9. McQueen works left side now to Walls. They bring it back up top. You can't leave Sproul open from the elbow, but she can't get that one to go. And as Kanaya Watkins went for the board there, she goes over the top of her defender and is whistled for the personal foul. That's going to be her second personal, Jeff. And you look at Kanaya Watkins, a point guard who Coach Fleming told me pregame she thinks can beat any Reinhardt defender off the dribble. She's headed to the bench here with just under 5 to play in the first quarter already with 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge blow for the Rams. Luckily, they have other guards that will step up in her presence, especially on the defensive end, but that is a huge blow for the Rams.
Hayes connects there to extend the lead to 11. Now the largest lead for Reinhardt. Farrar from 3 in the left wing. Too strong off the back iron. Hayes is there to corral it. Now on the opposite end of the floor, you can't leave Swafford, the big girl in the middle, open. or else she will make you pay for it on the scoreboard. Now a 13-point lead from Reinhardt, and this is slipping away early from the Rams. Walls drives inside, runner off the front rim. And as Spruill tried to corral it, she's going to take a dribble out of bounds. Hannah Trawick steps on, as well as Zion Neat in as substitutes for the Rams. Not to mention Tara Gibson, a sophomore guard for Reinhardt. One final substitution there for the Eagles. Briley Puckett, the junior forward, will step back in for Swafford, keeping fresh legs there in the paint. Hannah Trawick seeing her first action here for the Rams, trying to defend that post. 3:56 to go here in the first quarter. 13-point lead for Reinhardt. Puckett inside right hand, good. The lead now to 15. Neat tries working up the floor against the full court pressure. She has her dribble stolen away by Williams. On the other end is Gibson. Her shot's going to be deflected. Loose ball brought up by Williams. Now she's going to pull up from the elbow off the front rim. Neat's there for the rebound. Neat coast to coast. But Puckett plants her feet, takes the charge. And once again, the Rams are getting here in foul trouble early. Zion Neat's gonna have to step aside now. That's gonna be her second personal foul. To lose Kanaya Watkins and as well as Zion Neat here early on to foul trouble, that's really not a position the Rams want to have, especially you look at those are two of their best shooters and two of their fastest players on the floor. Williams works right corner, pulls up from downtown. She sinks it. The lead continues to grow for Reinhardt. The deficit becoming even larger of a mountain to climb for CIU. 2:48 to play here in the first quarter. Walls travels as she has an open lane to the basket. Reinhardt leading 22-4. Jeff, if you're CIU, how do you try to stop this huge momentum push that Reinhardt has, both offensively but especially defensively?
Well, first off, it all starts off on the defensive end. If CIU can start getting stops on defense, that'll allow them to get out and run. Because this is a team that likes to get out and transition and push. And right now, they're having to take the ball out underneath. That allows Reinhardt time to set up their full court press and create turnovers like we've been seeing so far this afternoon.
Gibson on the other end after the takeaway. Pulls up from three is Wilson. She got it from downtown. Haven Wilson, the senior guard from Waleska, Georgia. And Reinhardt has a 23-point lead now, and all of the momentum on their side. 2:08 to play, timeout taken by Columbia International, and the Rams have to figure something out here before the first quarter closes out. 27-4 our score. We'll be back in moments. Full timeout by CIU. 23-point lead for Reinhardt. We'll be back in moments on the CIU Sports Network. Back here for first quarter action on the CIU Sports Network. 2:08 to play here in the opening quarter, but it feels like a fourth quarter game. 27-4 our score. It has been all Reinhardt from the very beginning, bringing the intensity both on the offensive and defensive sides of the floor. Quinnica Howard, now the new point guard in for CIU. She joins MC Outlaw as well as Larissa Lee as new Rams on the floor. Gibson now on the other end, running jump shot, leaves it short. Lee's there for the board. 1:46 to play here in the first quarter. Howard works left side to Lee. She looked at the three. A nice 3-2 zone here from the Eagles. They're going to make CIU battle back in this one. down 23 points in the opening quarter. They're going to make them win it from the outside. Lee pulls up from the right arc, too strong. As Abby Hayes, who's had a tremendous impact here early, hauls it in. On the opposite side, Marley Townley, a new face in for Reinhardt, gets her first points of today's game and pushes the lead to 25. Once again, the shots continue to not fall for CIU. Hayes in the paint. She can't get the lucky bounce. Trawick is there to snag it in. 53 seconds to play now here in the first quarter. Howard's runner won't go. And as Walls went for the rebound, she loses her balance and will be whistled for the travel. Jordan Sproul, the grad student, now back onto the floor for Columbia International as Trawick will step aside. Looked to be a competitive game in the early goings, but both Kanaya Watkins and Zion Neat, two talented guards for CIU. They each have 2 personal fouls, and they both picked them up within the first 5 minutes of today's game. Their loss and the lack of their impact is evident, especially in transition. Dorica Chelsea sees her name now pop up on the scorebook with her first points of today's contest. Sproul over to Outlaw, inside to Lee with 17 seconds on the game clock. And that's the first points in a while for CIU. 31-6 our score. Reinhardt leading by 25, 7 on the game clock now. Hayes stands on the right wing, defended by Lee. 4, 3, make it 2 seconds. 1, Hayes loses her dribble and won't get the last second shot up. 1 quarter in the books, and it couldn't be more lopsided than it is. 31-6 our score. We're going to see a ton of new faces and new places for CIU. I see starting out the second quarter here. We're going to keep it here instead of taking a commercial break, Jeff. You look at this Reinhardt team, while they are 5-4 this season, they've had a couple of games postponed and canceled due to COVID-19. But let's go back to last season. I mean, we're talking about a Reinhardt team and Toby Wagner's first season as head coach that went 26-3 overall, and we're set to play in the NAIA Division II Women's Basketball National Championship against Dordt. But that season was not only cut short to COVID, the championship game was canceled, and they weren't able to finish off their 2019 and 2020 campaign. This isn't a team that you are going to look over, and Toby Wagner, a former assistant at Division I Georgia Southern for 4 years, you can see the job he's doing at Reinhardt. He's quickly making his name known in the NAIA circles, and you're obviously seeing, while they are 5-4 and just 1 game above 500, this is a team that looks a lot better than their record.
Yeah, this is very toughly coached team. They're big on their principles. They have a lot of discipline, and they're just moving forward in the right direction as a program, and that's all you can ask for. Reinhardt with the ball, swinging the ball around. Drives and kicks. Passes inside, too hard, out of bounds. Rams will take over.
9:44 left here in the first half. 31-6 our score. Jordan McQueen there on the right wing. She kicks it back to Watkins, who's back into the game with 2 personal fouls. She drives inside, dumps off to Sproul. That's the kind of offense that the Rams are looking for. Penetrate the paint, draw the bigs out of the middle to get the open high post. Sproul's there defensively, and the Rams have come out with a sudden intensity out of the quarter break. Sproul up and in, counted and one. Jordan Sproul with a 3-point play opportunity here. She sinks the bucket and draws the block there from Abby Hayes.
Beautiful play by the super senior there, getting the steal, going coast to coast with the finish and one.
Hayes steps aside here. Simone Williams checks back into the ball game for Reinhardt. 31-10 our score, 9:17 set to play here in the first half. Jordan Sproul, the graduate student from Charleston, South Carolina, the all-time leading scorer in CIU women's basketball history, cost her 5 years. She can't complete the 3-point play off the back rim. Loose rebound, last touched by the Rams. 21-point lead here for Reinhardt.
And if you see, Cade, with CIU now on the attack able to score baskets and at least set up their press, that gives Reinhardt fits. So now they can't come down court full speed getting easy layups and easy shots.
In the paint as Simone Williams dumps off to Swafford on the high post. Swafford's going to be fouled, and I believe that's going to be on Zion Neat. That's going to be her second personal here with 9:04 to play in the first half. Swafford will sink the first of her 2 free throws, the sophomore from Hickson, Tennessee. Second free throw up and good as well. 33-10 our score, a 23-point lead for Reinhardt. Neat pulls up from the left wing. She sinks it. Zion Neat catches fire there from 3-point range, cuts the lead to 20. Inside to Swafford once again in the paint. Jeff, you cannot leave a 6'3" center wide open in the paint, especially when that team has the size advantage. CIU mostly a guard-oriented team. They have size in the middle, but not much. You can't leave her open. Watkins tries dumping outside, and it's going to sail out of bounds.
Yeah, she's way too tall, way too physical to just be left alone wide open. But you also can't leave your own center alone on a 3-on-1 break. That's a very tough situation for Sproul to be in. So if you're CIU, you don't want to send maybe 4 all at the ball handler. Give your center a little bit of help.
Tyner works her way up the floor, dishes off. Now back to the top of the key is Williams. She's going to kick it right side back to Tyner from the right wing. From downtown is Mackenzie Tyner. McQueen now on the opposite end for the Rams. Farrer will drive left baseline, rattles it in. The lead back to 23, 38-15 our score, 7:53 left to play in the first half. Tyner dishes off. Swafford once again. What an impact she's having here in the first half. And if her trend continues, by the end of the game, she will surpass her career high of 9 points earlier this year against Bryan College. Zion Neat's there to respond for the Rams with her second 3 here in the second quarter. Top of the key to Williams, now 7:20 to play here in the first half. Chelsea inside. Sproul will poke it out of bounds. Quinnica Howard back onto the floor for the Rams as we see Tyner as well as Chelsea step aside for the Eagles. Or excuse me, there was a little mix-up there. Swafford is going to be the second Eagle to take to the bench. And that is not the call you want to see from the referee, especially if you're Fleming. That's going to be Kanaya Watkins' third personal foul here in the first half with 7 minutes to play. That's not a player you're going to want to lose if you're Danielle Fleming. You know, Jeff, we've seen how physical this game is and especially how big of an impact speed has had in this game. Kanaya Watkins, probably I would say one of the fastest players on either team. She has to step aside here with 3 fouls. Her impact is definitely going to be felt across the 7 minute.
Definitely, and it's going to hurt the Rams a little bit, but they have to figure out a way to dig deep, rally together, and try to continue to get stops as a team.
Walls will take her place on the floor. Williams works right side. 7 minutes to play here in the first half. Pass too strong there and stolen away by Howard on the opposite end. Her shot will be left short, but she'll head to the line for 2. As Simone Williams going to be whistled for her second personal foul. .6:53 left here in the first half, 40-18 our score. Just the luck of the Irish not on the side of the Rams today. Howard's first free throw will rattle out. She'll step back in here. The Rams trailing by 22. make that 21 now as Howard goes 1 of 2 on that trip to the charity stripe. Rams pressuring full court. Williams beats the press, kicks it off right side to Hayes from 3. Leaves it short, neat there. Hauls it in.
A lot of contact on that one, but no call by the official.
Williams can't hold on to her dribble. And one thing I see there, Jeff, that our viewers at home might not be able to see on the camera angle, I look at head coach Toby Wagner of Reinhardt. You know, his team sitting here leading by 21, 40-19 our score, with still 6.5 to play in the first half. There, as Williams wasn't able to hold on to her dribble, he was frustrated. It was a look of anguish. As this lead, it's strong. It's good enough to win the game, most likely, but he's still not satisfied.
No, and you can't be as a coach, because if you show satisfaction, and your team's going to get comfortable, and that's how you lose leads.
Brittany Burnett whistled for the foul there.
We've seen the Clippers, you know, talking about the NBA, blow big leads in the past, and it's good to show as a coach that you don't want your team to become lackadaisical and, you know, just give up.
Neat looked at the three-point shot. Instead, she hands back off to Howard. The Rams will work it back left side, near in the hands of Neat. Left-handed runner over the rim. Spruill's putback is no good. But second chance there from Jordan Spruill cuts the lead to 19. Timeout taken by Reinhardt.
The Rams starting to realize the way he beat this 3-2 zone is by attacking the middle, by getting to the rim and forcing the issue on the inside.
The only issue for the Rams, while, like Jeff said, they're starting to figure out how to attack the rim and actually score points in this one, is it too late? They trail by 19 here, 6:12 to play in the first half. 40-21 is our score. Reinhardt leading. Coming out of this timeout here, Jeff, for CIU, do you continue the same attack? Obviously. Defensively, though, how do you stop this Reinhardt team from continuing to not even extend the lead, but maintain the 9-point lead?
Like I said there at the end, I think the Rams are starting to figure out on the offensive and defensive end. You got to be aggressive. You got to pressure this team, run the shooters off the three-point line, and then gang rebound. If you do all these key things, then you should at least trim into this lead a good bit.
Full court pressure here from the Rams. They're going to kick it over to the left wing to Gibson. She's going to drive left baseline off the glass and in for Tara Gibson, the sophomore from Rome, Georgia. Under 6 minutes to play now here in the first half. 42-21 our score. Gianna Walls in for Kanaya Watkins, who now has 3 fouls on the bench for CIU. But speaking of fouls, Walls is going to pick one up there on the offensive end of the floor. Jordan McQueen whistled for the personal foul there as she set an illegal screen, her first personal. I do apologize. 5:35 to go here in the first half. Williams from the left baseline rattles it in. 23-point lead now for Reinhardt. Catherine Shope now with her second personal. As we're going to see McQueen and Spruill step aside for Trawick and Brown. Madison Ferrara also checking into the game for CIU. Little confusion there. I thought it was a shooting foul. Referees worked it out. It was called on the floor. So Tiana Walls will head to the bench. 5:22 to play here in the first half. Brown's got to get it in. Lazy pass there, stolen away by Burnett. Headed the opposite way. Brittany Burnett goes coast to coast with the left hand and puts the Rams back up by 24.
And that's a tough position for Neat to be in. She doesn't want to pick up another foul because she's already in foul trouble. But you don't want to just allow the other team to get an easy transition layup.
Gibson with back-to-back transition plays for the Rams. It's the lead now to 27. That is the largest it has been here in this game, dating back to when it was 31-4 early on. Ferrara's shot off the front rim. Shope will work her way against Brittany Brown here on the near sideline. Going to be trapped and stolen away by Quinnica Howard. Howard 2-on-1 here First shot poked away. She's able to recover and get the bucket. 48-23 our score now, 4:25 to play in the first half. Williams, boy, did she beat the press then. She pretty much walked her way into the paint. Back up top, Shope will drive inside, kick it left baseline. Now to Burnett. Left wing is Shope. She looked at the three-point shot. Timeout taken. I believe, no, I do apologize. I thought a timeout was taken here. Not sure what the referee called there. Jeff, did you catch that?
Might have been an issue with the clock. Not entirely sure. Yes, as they set the shot clock now to 15 instead of it being at 20. So
shot clock, like Jeff said, now on the countdown is at 10. Gibson works left side, goes in. She probably should have just kept that one herself. Instead, she dumps off to Towney, but Neat's there to corral it. Ferrara, reverse layup with the right hand. Leaves it short, but draws the foul. As I believe that's...
If the Rams keep chipping away at this lead, there's a whole nother half left, and we got 3:50 left in this one. Don't hang your heads. There's plenty of basketball left. Just keep being aggressive and keep staying strong on the defensive end.
Haven Wilson picking up her first foul on that transition play. Ferrara will sink the first of her 2 free throw attempts. The Pittsburgh State University transfer. 2 for 2 on that trip to the charity stripe. 3:48 to play here in the first half. 48-25 our score. A 23-point lead for the Rams. Inside now to Hayes with the left hand off the glass. The lead back to 25. The largest it has been in this game is 27. Neat sidesteps her defender, leaves the bucket short, but Burnett will be whistled for the second foul. The now 5th team foul for Reinhardt. Tori Wilson, the sophomore guard from Jasper, Georgia, steps in as a substitute here for the Eagles, along with Chelsea returning to the game, but Tori Williams is seeing her first action of the contest. Zion Neat, the talented freshman from Cedar Park, Texas, coming off a 27-point performance against St. Andrews this past Thursday. And that 27-point mark set the single-game scoring record by a freshman in CIU history. As Neat will sink the first free throw. And she'll do just the same for the second. 50-27 our score. Just under 3.5 minutes away from a trip to the locker rooms. Hayes working her way up the floor, defended by Jordan McQueen. She's going to dribble left hand, go inside in the paint. Runner good with that left hand. What a game Abby Hayes is having, Jeff. You know, you cannot count her out, especially when it's a 1v1 situation.
No, she's having an amazing game. She's just staying aggressive, getting to the rim, and taking good quality shots.
Sproul pulls up for a wide open three-point shot. Bounces off the front of the rim. 2:50 left here in the first half. Hayes stands at the top of the key. They go to the corner. That's going to be Wilson. She tried working left baseline instead. Goes over the top to the high post. Now underneath to Chelsea. She gets the bucket to drop. Darica Chelsea extends the Rams' lead here, 54-27 our score. Neat to Sproul on the elbow. Ferrara pulls up from the right arc. Off the back iron. Wilson hauls it in. Hayes, pump fake on the right side. She's there to pull in the rebound. Second chance points, no good there from Abby Hayes. Ferrara pulls up from 13 feet out and gets the running J. Under 2 minutes to go now, 54-29 our score. A wide open Tori Wilson from the right corner takes one dribble, but it'll bounce out. And Howard slowly working her way up the floor now for the Rams. Really the slowest this game's been across the last 4 minutes. Sproul left alone outside. She's not going to take that three-point shot, but Neat will from the left wing. Bounces off the front rim. Corralled by Wilson. Chelsea pump fakes, top of the key. 20 on the shot clock, 1:20 on the game clock. Marlee Towney, the freshman center for Reinhardt, fouled as she pulled up from the paint. Jordan Sproul going to be whistled for her first personal foul. Zion Neat will check out here as Justice Mazik steps on for CIU. Townley at the free throw line. First shot up and in, and boy, Jeff, did that get quiet there before that free throw. You could have heard a pin drop in here with 1:18 to play. 55-29 our score. Marlee Towney, the freshman from Dawsonville, Georgia. Obviously, if you're a sports fan, you know that's going to be the hometown of NASCAR Cup Series champion Chase Elliott, as well as his NASCAR Hall of Fame father, Awesome Bill Elliott from Dawsonville. 1:18 to play here in the first half. 56-29 our score as Towney sinks two from the free throw line. Mazik seeing her first game action. Moves it up the floor now. McQueen from just ahead of the free throw line gets the running J. 63 seconds away from halftime. 56-31 our score. Sproul's there defensively to get the steal as Swafford tried to swat it away and retain possession. She is going to pick up the personal foul. We're going to see Tara Gibson step on here for Chelsea and the Eagles. Swafford, a great game here early for the Rams, just her first personal, as we're 57 seconds away from halftime. But that will be the 5th team foul for the Rams, which sends Sproul to the free throw line, and she'll make the first. All 4 Rams back defensively. Sproul, an excellent free throw shooter, goes 2 for 2 on that trip. 56 seconds and counting on the game clock. 26 on the shot clock. Gibson nearly had her dribble stolen away by Howard. Swafford on the inside, stolen away by Ferrara. 44 seconds on the game clock. Howard now, the ball was poked loose, but Howard is able to come away with it. Quinnica now works left to right. Now left side is Ferrara. 32 seconds on the game clock, 15 on the shot clock. They're going to leave Sproul open on the outside. Not a three-point specialist, but Sproul's shot blocked there defensively. 22 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock turned off. Eagles trying to work there in transition. Tyner can't hold on to the lob pass. It's going to roll off her fingertips out of bounds. Now 19.1 seconds away from halftime. Shot clock has been turned off. The Rams trailing here by 23. McQueen back to Howard, and that was nearly a backcourt pass. Quinnica was just stepping across the midcourt line. Quinnica from the mid post, too strong off the backboard. Sproul's put back, no good, and that will be the first half. 56-33 our score. A 15-minute halftime break here. Obviously, we'll bring you second half action. Before we check out, though, Jeff, if you're heading to the locker rooms and you're CIU and Danielle Fleming, you're trailing here by 23, but I think you really look at how this game's gone. That 23-point lead was mainly built in the first quarter. You look at the second quarter, a back-and-forth game between these two squads. CIU was finally able to figure out how to penetrate that 3-2 zone that Reinhardt was presenting them and get points on the board and kind of go blow for blow for them there in the second quarter. How do you continue that into the second half, but also kind of start climbing the mountain, and for every 2 shots you make, you only allow 1 bucket?
Yeah, if I'm CIU, I just got to stay aggressive on the defensive and offensive end. That's what's really kind of keeping them in the game. You saw them get stops there at the end of the first half, and that kind of allowed them to chip away. So you just got to stay aggressive to kind of stop the post play from Reinhardt. Like you saw at the end, a full front makes them lob it over the top. Then you have backside help to steal the pass away. So I think if they keep that up throughout the second half, they'll be fine. They'll definitely trim the gap a little bit at least. And it'll be looking forward to see how the rest of this turns out.
Here at halftime, our score, Reinhardt 56, Columbia International 33. We'll be back with you in just about 13 minutes coming out of halftime for your second half action of this AAC Conference Showdown. We'll be back in moments here on the CIU Sports Network for second half action. And welcome back in for second half action here on the CIU Sports Network. Kay Crenshaw, Jeff McElwain here with you on this Saturday afternoon in this AAC women's basketball matchup here in Columbia. Coming out of halftime, Reinhardt leading Columbia International 56-33. Jeff, you look there in the second quarter, and really if this was a second quarter only game, then we have a much more competitive score than we do. You look at this right now, Reinhardt holds on to a 23-point lead. That's mainly thanks to a first quarter where they outscored CIU 31-6. But there in the second quarter, Columbia International started to figure it out and actually outscored Reinhardt 27-25. What does CIU have to do in this third quarter to cut into this 23-point lead and give themselves a chance at the end of the game?
Like I've been saying all game, the Rams have to continue to be aggressive, continue to share the ball, find the open cutter, and get wide open threes, just like right there.
Ferrara too strong off the back iron. Columbia International now needs to get back defensively and get a stop. Catherine Shope dumps off inside there to Burnett. The lead back to 25. The largest it has been in this game is 27. And that's not a call you want. Kanaya Watkins is going to be done for a while. That's going to be her fourth personal foul here in the ball game. Her first half was mainly marked by fouls, and that's pretty much going to take her out of the game till late in the fourth with 4 personal fouls. The speedy point guard for Danielle Fleming's squad has to sit this one out. Hayes, who had a great first half, runner too strong off the back glass. Sproul is able to corral it underneath the basket. Gives way to Quanika Howard. 9 minutes left here in the third quarter. A 25-point ball game. Zion Neat can't make it any less than that as she'll miss from the left wing. Simone Williams now at the top of the key. She's going to drive left hand inside the paint. Goes up with the right hand and lays in the runner. We are back to our largest lead here in this one for Reinhardt, 60-33. Inside to Sproul. With the right hand, finger roll, lays it in. Jordan Sproul now with 11 points for Columbia International. Lob pass over the top to Williams. She crosses over left hand, gets in the paint, lays it up and in. Not the defensive third quarter start that you want to see here from Columbia International, Jeff. They're able to get some points, but they've got to keep Reinhardt off the scoreboard to battle back in this one. McQueen from the left corner off the back iron. Sproul's there for the offensive rebound, and she's going to be fouled there as she cleared it out. Simone Williams whistled for her now third personal foul. We're going to see Tori Williams as well as Emily Swafford check into the ball game. You really look at the first half there for Reinhardt, Jeff. Every single Eagle scored except Tori Wilson, who just checked into the game. She played 7 minutes in the first half without a bucket. But you look at Emily Swafford there on the flip side. She was the team's leading scorer. She had a career high 10 points. And that was just in the first half. So obviously she's going to continue that here in the second, most likely. Her past career high 9 points earlier this season against Bryan College. 62-35, our score here with 7:40 left. Ferrara works left wing, now goes inside to Sproul, defended there by Swafford in the paint, rattles it in. There is Sproul. She has 13 points. That's a team high for CIU. Right corner is Tori Williams in the paint. Hayes, left-handed shot there from about 5 feet out. She lays it in. Neat nearly has her dribble poked away. She's able to dump off to Walls. Top of the key is McQueen, drives in the paint. Runner won't go, but Swafford will be called for the personal foul. I believe that's going to be her second now as Jordan McQueen steps to the line. 64-37 our score. A 26-point deficit, Jeff. We mentioned they're coming out of the second half. If CIU wants to win this one, they cannot exchange blows with this Reinhardt squad. It is too late for that. That's a trend they're continuing there from the second quarter. They have to start making shots here and getting stops defensively.
Definitely. They got to start taking chunks out of this lead. Not all necessarily at once, but definitely just start doing something right now. And it starts with the defensive end. You have to force turnovers, get stops, and create momentum for your team so you can have a chance moving forward to make this thing a little bit more competitive.
Shope with the spin move lays it in there to extend the lead back to 27. Ferrara responds on the opposite end with a baseline runner with the right hand. 6.5 to play here in the third quarter. Hayes now working her way up. Double teamed by McQueen and Walls. They're going to have Tori Wilson right open in the right corner. Shot too strong. Too much air under it, but Swafford is there for the putback. She extends her career-setting mark. She now has 12 points in this one, the most in her Reinhardt collegiate career. Neat inside. She's going to be stopped there by Swafford. And now the Eagles are headed the other way. Inside underneath as Burnett. The transition bucket won't have the lucky bounce for Burnett. The lead stands at 27 for Reinhardt. Neat there on the left wing. Both of these two teams trying to battle their way across the last few games of the season, with the conference tournament coming up in just a few short weeks. Coming into today's game, Reinhardt standing in 5th place in the AAC standings. You look at Columbia International, they're at 8th place. And for those of you that don't know, the AAC conference tournament, the way this sets up, the top 4 seeds get a first-round bye in the tournament. Seeds 5 through 8 get to host their first-round games. Gibson fouled there after she came away with the steal around midcourt. Quanika Howard going to be whistled for her first personal foul in today's game. Second team foul this quarter for the Rams, with the lead standing at 27. Hannah Trawick checking in here for Spruill. Trawick still trying to find the scoreboard in today's game. She did have 1 rebound there in the first half. Gibson makes her first free throw. Gibson with now 5 points in today's game. And now she's 2 for 2 from the free throw line today. Full court pressure here from Reinhardt. The Rams were not expecting that one. Quanika Howard's going to be trapped in the corner. Timeout taken by CIU. 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. 5:27 left here in the third quarter. 70-41 our score. 29-point lead here for Reinhardt. That is the biggest and largest it has been here on this Saturday afternoon. Jeff, obviously not the third quarter start you wanted to see from CIU, but what can they do to keep this one from getting even further out of reach?
Well, for starters, it's obvious that Reinhardt just wants it more. CIU has come out here flat the second half. It seems like they're lacking energy, playing too nonchalant, and that's it really in the game. That's the huge difference maker.
One thing I just saw there in the break, Jeff, as you come out of the timeout, obviously music playing over the sound system. While CIU, they're a very stressed team right now. They're very game-oriented. They're trying to battle back in here. Reinhardt, very relaxed. They're calm, cool, and collected. A few of the players there were dancing and singing coming out of the timeout to the music on the sound system. And they're just playing more loose. Like you said, they just want it more. They're more comfortable in this game. The Rams, maybe they're just thinking too much at this point. They're called for the 10-second half-court violation, not able to get across the timeline. 5:20 now on the third quarter. But really at this point, Jeff, it seems like it's not really a battle of basketball teams, but a battle of mindsets.
Honestly, that's what it boils down to. And it's almost as if the Rams got punched in the face, and that shocked them. You know, they completely messed up their entire offensive flow. They lost a lot of their defensive principles, and they need to learn how to take a blow and deliver one back.
Marley Towney there with the bucket for Reinhardt. Stolen away. Hayes comes away with it for Reinhardt. 2-on-1, dumps it off to Gibson on the high post. Too strong off the glass. Quanika Howard comes away with the board. Ferrara now on the other end, pulls up for the mid-range. Jay, little string music there from Madison Ferrara. A little nothing but net action. 4.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. 72-43 our score. Abby Hayes gets a screen there from Towney, working on Walls. She's going to work right to left, now swing it back top of the key. Left corner is Gibson. She's going to drive left baseline on Quanika Howard. Shot up, won't go, but Quanika Howard whistled now for her second personal foul. That's going to be the third team foul as well for CIU. Kanaya Watkins, we're going to see check in here for Tiona Walls. And Jeff, Kanaya's got to be careful here. She's got 4 personal fouls here, and she's seeing action with 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. She has got to be careful not to take herself out for the remainder of the game, not just a majority of the remainder of the game.
For sure, because she's definitely their floor general. She's the one that pushes the breaks, kind of communicates with everybody, lets them know what spot they need to be in. So without having her, it would be a huge blow.
The biggest thing for Watkins, she's the speedy point guard there for the Rams, but majority of her fouls have come on the offensive side. She's being called for charges and also a few reaches and things like that. So Kanaya Watkins really has to be careful both offensively and defensively, because this Reinhardt team, they've got her just in the position they want. The fastest player for the Rams is deep in foul trouble. McQueen pump fakes, drives inside, right hand. Floater goes there for Jordan McQueen as we reach under the 4-minute mark here in the third quarter with a 73-45 score. Hayes' shot is off the mark to the left of the rim. McQueen will snag it out. Jordan now drives left hand. And looked like she was going up with the shot as Tara Gibson's whistled for the foul. I believe they're going to call it on the floor. That's going to be Tara Gibson's first personal foul. We see Abby Hayes step aside and Haven Wilson check in for Reinhardt. Foul will indeed be called on the floor. McQueen pulls up from just left at the top of the key. Off the mark, Trawick went for the rebound, couldn't hold on to it. Last touched by an Eagle. (73-45) our score. 3 minutes, 33 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Boy, that was a lot of threes. Speaking of threes, Neat looked at it from the right corner and said Watkins drives in, kicks it right side. Watkins now back. She pulls up from 3. Kanaya Watkins from downtown.
And I believe that is her first shot of the day, folks.
Kanaya Watkins with 4 personal fouls. One of the best players here for the Rams, finally making her presence known offensively. Gibson too strong, but Towney's there for the offensive board. Towney now from 15 feet out, leaves it short. Gibson once again the offensive rebound. Second chance points there for the Eagles. 75-48. Trawick for the offensive rebound and putback for the Rams. Hannah Trawick now finds herself on the scorebook. Her first points of today's contest. The lead down to 25 now. Derica Chelsea with a mid-range jumper. Back to 27. The largest it's been is 29. As Ferrara went to break the press, she draws the foul from Gibson. As Tara Gibson, the sophomore, is going to pick up her second personal foul and check out now for the Eagles, along with Marley, Towney, and Chelsea. So we're going to see new faces and new places here for the Eagles. For Briley Puckett as well as Mackenzie Tyner. Not to mention Catherine Shope, all back onto the floor, joining Wilson and Tori Williams for Reinhardt. Neat on the right wing, works it back left side. Watkins, left arc from Ferrara for 3. Leaves it short. Shope's able to corral it. 2:12 to play here in the third. Top of the key. Wilson drives in, left-handed runner, good from Haven Wilson. 2 minutes left now here in the third quarter. 29-point lead for Reinhardt. Neat keeps it herself, drives inside. Shot too strong off the glass, but she's going to get a chance at 2 free throws as Briley Puckett is whistled for the block. Going to be her first personal foul in the game. Zion Neat, the freshman guard here for CIU, steps to the charity stripe here, down 29 with under 2 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. She'll make the first. Zion Neat, a very talented free throw shooter. Look back in Thursday night's game. Not only did she set a freshman single game scoring record for CIU with 27 points, but 9 of those 27 came from the free throw line, where she went 9 for 9 on Thursday night. A big time factor in their win over St. Andrews. 1:46 left to play here in the third quarter. After Neat's 2 free throws, the lead down to 27. Wilson works right to left, now dishes off to Tori Wilson. Top of the key, 3-point shot from Shope. Pinball's out. And as Puckett came down with the rebound, she's fouled from Jordan Spruill. By my count, that should be Spruill's second personal, and indeed it will be. The Eagles will take it out underneath their own basket. Tyner over the top to Shope. Now left wing Wilson. Tyner, who had the inbounds, throws up a long 2. Her foot was on the line, but it'll rattle out. Neat now in transition. 1:22 left in the third quarter. Neat off the glass with the right hand in the transition bucket. 79-54, now 25 deficit facing the Rams. Shope drives in the paint, left hand. Finger roll goes in for Catherine Shope and the Rams. A minute left here in the third quarter. McQueen to Ferrara from the right wing. 3 off the left side, and Jordan McQueen's going to be whistled for the foul there, going for the rebound. Or excuse me, Haven Wilson whistled for the foul. I thought that was going to be called offensively on Jordan McQueen, but in fact it will send McQueen to the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. MC Outlaw checking into the game here for Zion Neat with 51 seconds left here in the third quarter. 81-54 our score. We're also going to see Quanika Howard check in here for the Rams. Watkins steps aside. She was able to maintain and not draw a foul there in her limited action. She has 4 personal fouls, so she'll step aside and try to keep that limited game action to keep her available through the end of the contest. 51 seconds as here in the third quarter as McQueen will sink her first free throw. Second free throw rattles out. Justice Mazik will check in for McQueen as soon as the next dead ball. Wilson works right side now. Tainer works on Ferrara, 40 seconds. 19 on the shot clock, though. So CIU will have a possession here. Wilson, left side to Thayer. Thayer works inside. Runner is good from Mackenzie Tyner. 25 seconds left here in the third quarter. McQueen drives to the high post and pulls up. Won't go. Ferrara now from near the left corner. Tyner's there for the board. 12 seconds left. Tori Wilson from 3. She got it! Tori Wilson with her first points of today's game. Reinhardt's bench explodes as Tori Wilson gets her first points of the game. Jordan McQueen whistled for the offensive foul on the other end. But it is now important to note, with 86 total team points, after that 3 from Tori Wilson, every single Eagle that has played has now scored. 0.6 of a second left here in the third quarter. As I mentioned, Justice Mazik steps on for McQueen, and the Eagles will simply dribble it out to end the third quarter. 86-55 our score after 3. We'll be back in moments for the final 10 minutes of this Appalachian Athletic Conference showdown on a Saturday afternoon in Columbia. Reinhardt leading Columbia International 86-55. We'll be back in moments on the CIU Sports Network. 10 minutes left here in the ball game in Columbia. 86-55 our score. Reinhardt leading Columbia International. Glad to have you with us here on this Saturday afternoon. Cade Crenshaw, Jeff McElwain bringing you the action. Jeff, you mentioned there in the break, this Reinhardt team going 26-3 last season in their first year under head coach Toby Wagoner. Not only did they were set to make an appearance in the NAIA Division II Women's Basketball National Championship game against Dordt, but thanks to COVID-19, that canceled that championship game appearance, and obviously they didn't get to finish the season the way they had hoped for, but 26-3, a very impressive record. Just 5-4 on this season. They've had a few games postponed and canceled due to COVID, but you can see this is an exciting team to watch, but maybe their secret ingredient comes from the coaching staff.
Definitely so, and if you look at their bench, they have a few players from last year's roster actually coaching with the team now. And folks, in the basketball world, it's huge to keep pieces of a winning team still on the roster so they could teach the younger folks currently on the team that championship culture, letting them know what it takes each day in and day out, coming to practice prepared. How you practice is how you play type of mindset. So that is a huge advantage to have veteran leaders still with the team, even after they're done playing.
Gibson looked at the three-point shot. Instead, she'll keep it herself and lay the runner in. Now 92-57 our score, and obviously you can expect that Reinhardt will surpass the triple-digit mark here in today's game. But coming out of the end of quarter timeout there and starting the fourth, your 5 Rams on the floor: Kanaya Watkins, Justice Mazik, Zion Neat, Madison Ferrara, and Jordan Spruill, Williams now works inside, dumps off to Swafford, who continues to have a career day for Reinhardt, now with 14 points, extending her career high. Inside to Spruill, defended by Swafford.
And Kate, if you look at how Reinhardt has built their lead, it's not by 1 or 2 people jacking up a bunch of shots hoping it goes in. It's them playing team basketball, penetrating and kicking, finding the open person, and just being unselfish all day long. And that has made a big difference here.
Gibson dumps in the corner to Shope. Too strong off the back rim, but once again, Swafford, having the size in the middle, standing at 6'3", is able to bring in the offensive board. Gibson, though, will be whistled for the offensive foul there, I do believe, with 7:43 left here in the fourth quarter. 94-57 our score. New faces in new places as Spruill, Mazik, and Ferrara all step aside for the Rams. We're going to see Trawick, McQueen, and Tiana Walls all check in. Watkins, the talented point guard here for Fleming and the Rams. A very quiet game today for the junior from Chattanooga. Can't get the bucket to go there. But Trawick backs her way into the paint after clearing out the offensive board. Hannah Trawick with her second bucket of the game. Trawick there defensively with the steal. Not only that, but as Swafford tried battling there with her, Swafford's going to pick up the personal foul with 7:13 to play here in the ball game. As I mentioned, though, folks, Kanaya Watkins not having the production day you would hope to see from her, but really not much to her fault. 4 personal fouls she currently has here with just over 7 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. 3 of those coming up to the 7-minute mark in the second quarter. So Kanaya Watkins has dealt with foul trouble throughout this game. She's been limited in one action she was able to do as really Fleming was trying to save one of her best players here in crunch time. Trawick pulls up from 3. The Lexington native can't get it to go. Walls, though, for the offensive rebound. You heard the slap there as she went up for the second chance points. And Derica Chelsea whistled for the foul.
That is why it's so important for big players to be able to have an outside shot and knock down that jumper, because once you're capable, that changes the entire defense. Now they can't sit back in that zone. They have to come out and play man, and that opens up the floor with endless possibilities on the scoring end for the Rams.
6:58 left here in the fourth quarter. 94-60 our score now as Walls will sink the first of her 2 free throws. 34 points separate these two squads. And what really has just been a lopsided game. But you really look at the lopsidedness of it, it dates back to the first quarter. Reinhardt out to a hot start. They've never trailed in this game, got out to a 7-0 run to start today's ball game. Ended up leading after the third quarter 31-6. And since then, CIU's been able to battle back and really exchange blows one for one through them throughout the second, third, and here early on in the fourth quarters, with that lead only slightly growing. And CIU actually outscored Reinhardt in the second quarter, 27-25. But that first quarter, that deficit was just too much to overcome for this CIU team. Tyner, her first free throw off the front rim. The junior guard from Jefferson, Georgia, she's actually coming off of what was a season-high 6 points versus Tennessee Wesleyan. She now has 4 in today's game. And after that free throw, Neat, the right-handed shot from the paint won't go, but Trawick once again there for the putback. 6 points in today's contest for Hannah Trawick. 6:26 to play.
She's been very solid for the Rams. She continues out this hot play. Look for her to start earning a lot more playing time.
Timeout taken by Reinhardt. 6:24 left here in the fourth quarter. 95-63 our score. Reinhardt leading Columbia International. We'll be back in moments on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, 6:24 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Reinhardt coming out of the timeout, leading Columbia International comfortably, 95-63. Hayes works right side, keeps it herself, but as she tried laying up the finger roll, Zion Neat's going to deflect it out of bounds. It'll stay Eagle basketball to the left of their own basket. They'll have the inbounds on the near baseline. Tyner gets it in once again to Hayes. She's going to be defended by Walls, though. Hayes is going to keep it herself. Runner down the left baseline. Bounces off the backside of the rim. Walls tried going to Neat in the corner. She's able to find her right around the right wing. Neat goes between the legs. Inside, bucket and one. Zion Neat with the three-point opportunity here with 5:54. And if you're the Rams, you really take any kind of points you can get, but especially ones that might give you 3 points on the board. Zion Neat, just a freshman from Cedar Park, Texas. She's going to be a talented player here for Fleming over the next couple of years at CIU. Free throw, too strong off the front rim. 5:51 to play. 95-65 our score. 30-point lead here for Reinhardt. The Eagles sit at 5th in the AAC standings as Hayes can't get it to go underneath. Chelsea from 3. No, excuse me, that's going to be a long 2. The back referee is going to say she had her toe on the line, so that puts it at 97 now for the Reinhardt Eagles. McQueen responds with a runner on the opposite end, but as I was saying, Jeff, 5th place in the AAC standings for Reinhardt. Columbia International currently sitting at 8th. And they're trying to battle in to stay in within those top 8 seeds so they can host that first round game in the conference tournament here in a couple of weeks. Now 99-67 inside to Trawick. She's up and lays it in. Hannah Trawick, Jeff, quietly having herself a strong game off the bench. 8 points for her. Timeout taken by Reinhardt. We'll keep it here because I want to talk about Hannah Trawick, Jeff, and the game she's having. She very well could start working her way into the starting lineup because as we've seen, 3 home games this week for CIU, 2 wins over Montreat College, a buzzer beater victory there, and a come-from-behind win over St. Andrews. Hannah Trawick was a big-time impact in both of those games, and today's game, obviously unless a miracle happens, they're going to come away with the loss. 2-1 on the week, but Hannah Trawick was a big-time impact across all 3 games.
Yeah, she's definitely getting better and better as the years go by. If she continues up this hot streak of playing well, I wouldn't be surprised to see her in the starting lineup, possibly next to Miss Jordan Sproul, or having her as the 6-man option and having those guys as the 1-2 punch inside the paint for the Rams. But either way, for Coach Fleming, it's definitely a good problem to have.
Old Town Road there on the speakers here in the sound system at Columbia International. As the Rams trail by 30 with 4:47 to play in the fourth quarter. Hayes will dump off to Wilson. They're simply doing a handoff. Now back right side to Hayes. 15 on the shot clock now. They go across court to Shope inside. Her shot's going to be deflected by Trawick. But Marley Towney, the freshman from Dawsonville, there for the second chance points. 4:20 to play in the fourth quarter. Hayes headed the other way for the Rams. She'll lay in the transition bucket. 103 points scored here today for Reinhardt. Every single player for them has scored. Everyone has played. Everyone will be on the post-game stat sheet. 3:56 left here in the fourth quarter. Walls goes left side to Trawick. She threw up a mid-range jumper near the left baseline, too strong off the back rim. Haven Wilson now, left hand, kicks it over to Shope. She drives in the paint, sidesteps her defender. She can't get it to go. Loose rebound, last touch by Shope and Reinhardt. So it'll be Rams basketball here. 3:32 away from wrapping this one up on this Saturday afternoon. And one thing we do see here, Jeff, from the Rams, obviously this one is, I think it's safe to say, out of reach at this point. Down 103-69 with 3:15 to play. They're getting a lot of younger players some experience here and some bench depth, starting to try to circulate that as you wind down the remainder of the season to get ready for that upcoming AAC tournament. On the court currently for the Rams, Larissa Lee, Tiana Walls, Trawick, McQueen, and Ferrara. McQueen, the lone starter, still in the game. Hayes works her way in. Leaves it short. Will draw the foul there on Walls, but what a game Abby Hayes has had. She is just a hustle, big-time ball player. The junior guard from Venison, Indiana, came into this game averaging 15 points per game on the year. You know, she missed the first half of the season for Reinhardt. She's only played 3 games in this 2020 to 2021 season, but in those 3 games, she's had 19, 14, and 12-point performances.
Yeah, you could definitely tell she's a huge part of this Reinhardt team. Some would say that if they had her early on in the year that they'd be higher than 5th place currently. But you can't talk about things that have passed, so she's here now, healthy, looking like one of the best players on the team, and looking forward to see how this Reinhardt team does moving forward.
Reinhardt just 5-4 on the season, all playing only conference opponents. As Walls will pull up from 3. She sinks it from downtown. Tiana Walls from the right wing with 2.5 to play. As the Rams now trail by 31. Gibson working her way inside, dumps off to Puckett, but Gibson's there trying to corral it. Larissa Lee comes away with it. Now up the floor to Walls once again. Lob pass is going to be stolen away by Reinhardt. Tough foul there from Madison Ferrara. And, Jeff, you look ahead to the conference tournament. Obviously, everyone makes it, and it really just depends on seeding across how you do in the season. But Reinhardt, like I said, they're going to move to 6-4 after today's game. They're going to settle right around the 4, 5, and 6 window, unless, obviously, the last 5 or 6 games for them absolutely goes the wrong way. But they're going to be within those top 8 seeds and either get a bye or potentially even host their first round matchup in the conference tournament. Regardless of seeding, this Eagles team looks like they're finding their stride at just the right time in the season.
Definitely, and it's obvious that they're a tough out. I wonder how this team is going to do come postseason time against those better teams. when they have their game plans tighter, I guess you could say. But this is a very exciting team. They play well together. They play with a lot of enthusiasm and just basically a lot of effort. So it'll be fun to see them moving forward.
Like you mentioned, one of the biggest takeaways I'll have in this game is Reinhardt's team play. A very balanced attack. This is not going to be a team you're going to meet in the postseason where, if you shut down one player, then really you're going to take them out of the ball game. Every single Eagle has scored today, and really all of them have had an impact on the game. That constantly rotating, and I feel like if I'm Toby Wagner, the head coach of Reinhardt, I really do feel like whatever five I have on the floor is going to give us a competitive advantage if I'm the Eagles.
Definitely, and that's what's so special about this team, Cade. Clearly, you look at the roster, anybody out there could drop 20 on any given night. And that's what makes a team so dangerous when they don't have just one or two or even three very good players. Their entire team is a collective unit that moves together.
Reinhardt, an especially dangerous team here across the final 2 to 3 weeks of the regular season in the AAC. 1:26 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Reinhardt leading 105-76. Tori Williams, the sophomore from Jasper, Georgia, will bring it up the floor. Now dump it left side to Tyner. Kicks it to the left high post to Burnett, and as she went up for the bucket, she's going to be fouled by Justice Mazik, coming off the bench here for CIU. Also, we're going to see checking into the game here in her first game action, Kiara Austin, a junior from Greenville, South Carolina. As Zion Neitz, the talented freshman for CIU, is going to exit and wrap up her day here in the fourth quarter. Burnett's first free throw, and nothing but net, up and good. 72 seconds left here in this conference matchup as we're going to wind this one down with a win for Reinhardt. Burnett's 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. Wilson along with Derica Chelsea in the game for Puckett, as well as Brittany Burnett. Looking ahead for Reinhardt first year coming up Thursday, January 28th, they're going to be on the road taking on Brunel. And then the following Saturday, January the 30th, they'll return home against Milligan as they wind down their regular season schedule here across the final 5 and 6 games of the season. For Columbia International, we'll be back here coming up on Thursday, January 28th, in a crosstown rivalry as they'll play host to Columbia College. The Koalas paying a visit here next Thursday night at 5 p.m. for a conference matchup. 37.5 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Jump ball there on the ground. And it'll be Rams basketball, 107-76. Kiara Austin set to bring it up the floor for the Rams, winding this one down. Roughly a 7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock here as Mazik dumps outside to Lee. She pulls up from the left wing, too strong, but MC Outlaw there for the offensive board. Austin once again from the top of the key throwing up shots. She just can't get them to fall. Tara Gibson there. She climbs the ladder to grab the board. 8 seconds now left here in the ball game, and that'll all but wrap it up as Tori Wilson is just going to dribble this one out. Final score here in Columbia, 107-76. Our score here today, Reinhardt defeating Columbia International. We'll take a break and be back in a few minutes here for our post-game report, including stats, leading scores, as well as a sit-down conversation with head coach Danielle Fleming of Columbia International to recap this loss as well as look ahead to next Thursday's game against Columbia College. We'll be back in moments here on the CIU Sports Network. Welcome back into the CIU Sports Network here post-game, wrapping up a 107-76 loss here today to Reinhardt. We're now joined by head coach of the Rams, Danielle Fleming. Coach, a tough loss today. What positives do you take away after today's game?
Great question. It's hard to look at the positives, when you have that. I would just say the fight. We could have easily just gave up coming out. That first quarter was awful. Couldn't seem to get it going, couldn't get stops. So coming out in the second half and just kind of, in the locker room, they could have been down, they could have been pouting, but they weren't. They were kind of fired up. And their score, we always say, is 0-0 coming out, whether we're up or down. So I'll take that as a positive.
One thing I took away, Coach, really you take the first quarter out of the equation, and we've got ourselves a ball game. You guys are down 25 points at the end of the first. Obviously, a 31-point loss here today. 6 points across the final way. You mentioned your team just did not give up across the final three quarters. You guys even outscored them there in the second, 27-25. But you look at your team here today, 4 players in double digits. Jordan Spruill along with Jordan McQueen, Zion Neat, not to mention Madison Ferrara with another strong game with 12 points. Heading in, you guys now, it's been a rough week. It's been a tiring week. 2-1 this week with 2 wins earlier over Montreat as well as St. Andrews, and obviously you take the loss today. 2-1 on the week, but now you have a little bit of time off until next Thursday where you welcome Columbia College. What does your team do over the next 4 to 5 days to really just rest up?
Well, I gave them Monday off, and then tomorrow take our mind off basketball. It's Jordan's daughter's birthday. She's our team baby, so it's her first birthday, so we're going to celebrate her a little bit. But, yeah, I think it'll be nice to kind of settle down, come back Tuesday, regain focus. And like you said, just to keep talking about the game real quick, like the third quarter, I'm looking at it, we scored 27 in the second, 22 in the third, 21 in the fourth. Like, we just can't have quarters like that in the first. It's a game, that's a game. If they score 31 in the first, if we can get 20-something, but at the end of the day, we got to get stops. We can't let teams just score 30, in 2 quarters. We can't do that. So, but, yeah, I think we'll take this one on the chin. Never too high, never too low, and let's get ready and prepare for Columbia starting on Tuesday.
Coach, best of luck coming up this Thursday, and thank you for joining us here today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That wraps it up here in Columbia for all of us here at Columbia International on the CIU Sports Network. I'm Kate Crenshaw. Have a great Saturday afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in, and as always, remember to smile.